Hey, chicks, let's chat. So, listen, happy Sunday. Hope y'all having a good weekend. So, let me tell y'all a little story about last week. And let me let y'all chime in the comments. So, this is a very taboo subject. Why? Because at first, the first time people hear it, everybody want to walk the straightest, finest line, right? And act as if, they're just super against this doesn't happen. It's always the woman's fault when it happens, etc., so forth, right? And there's gonna be some people who will jump in my comment and argue, they points or whatever. But here's the thing. There are situations when a man is married, he steps out on his wife for whatever reason, whether it was just to play, whether it was he fell in love with the lady, regardless to whatever happens, because a whole lot of in-betweens happen, right? But I feel like there's a game changer when a kid gets involved, right? When a woman ends up having a child from the man, etc., so forth, right? And how that is handled depends on every situation, right? I could easily say, without being in that situation, I could easily say, well, if that happens, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, right? But you don't always know what you're going to do should you be placed in a tough situation, right? You don't always know. And it's a lot of factors that you have to consider when that happens. And I think that age is one of them. When people do things when they're younger, they may not have made those same choices later on in life, So I think there's an element of grace that you have to give to people when they make certain choices and they weren't necessarily the right choice or the politically correct choice or whatever it may be. And then you have to be realistic and say, hey, like, we all live in this life and we walking in this life together, and nobody's going to make all of the right decisions all of the time, and that's just the reality of it. But it's like, it's a sensitive topic whenever, because I think with some women, you want to be married so bad and then when it finally happens for you, that's like your end all and be all, So anything that goes wrong or anything that's happening, you want to blame that, it's the other woman's fault. It's the other woman's fault, because you want that man so bad. You want your perfect marriage so bad that everything going to be the other person's fault. And even if you do put a little bit of the fault on him, you going to have a million reasons why you can forgive him and still hold a grudge on the woman. That's the part I don't think is fair. Because at the point where you forgive him, guess what, you need to be forgiving her too. Yeah. So anyways, now, the caveat to that for me, now that I do feel is universal for me. At the point where you're going to forgive him and take him back and try to build your life, you do the same for her. Ain't no point in taking him back and then every time you look at her, your face screwed up. Right? Except for if it's a situation where she's been disrespectful to you and she's trying you and she's, just going too far and doing too much. Then I can understand you and her having a little rift. Because now she has took a situation that was between you and her husband, and then now she's made it to be between you and her. Okay, that's different. Because I don't tolerate disrespect. Like, we ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to give you the utmost respect, and I'm gonna need that in return. Now, if one or both of us can't do it, sometimes it's impossible to respect some people. Some people just don't even deserve anything from you, let alone your respect, right? So anyways, let's get into it. So the other week, I ran across this man, right, who is the father of my brother. Now this man was a sheriff in our city for pretty much the whole time I was growing up. Now remind you, me and my brother, we like probably about 13 years apart, right? So he's my little brother. My little big brother, rather. So the situation is that his dad, I've known his dad like for a long time. His dad and his dad's family actually used to stay in the same neighborhood where my mom and dad first built their home, right? And so, long story short, once my mom and dad got divorced, they both went their separate ways, right? So, a few years after that, my brother is born, right? And not even that long after that, to be honest, just to think about it. But anyway, so my brother is born. So at this point, I think I started going to the school. I started going to the school shortly after, where my brother's dad is the school police officer, right? Now I see my brother daddy coming over there. He'll bring money, put it in the mailbox sometimes. He'll even have his other sons with him in the car sometimes, because all of them is little boys at this time, right? And even one time I remember his brother coming over there, which is my brother's uncle. And I was like, wow, my brother looked so much like his uncle. Because his uncle was real light. And at that time, my brother was real light. And that was interesting. Because my mom is darker than me, or was darker than me. But his daddy is what they would call red. Now remind you now, my brother daddy, in his heyday, he's a sheriff, nice looking, fine, bow-legged, and if you from down south, y'all know what that means to us. Good hair, sweet, smooth talking. Like, these are the things I can look back on and remember at this time. Now, of course, I can remember even at that time that he wasn't no bad looking man, right? Nice looking guy. So, you know, he was involved in my brother's life in his early, like from till maybe up to 3, I would say. And now by that time is when things started going bad with my mom in terms of her addiction, right? Started going real bad, I say. So I used to have my brother a lot, like take him with me when I'm going here, I'm going to games, this, that. I remember one time I was at the game, and of course when his dad being the guy on duty, it's about to rain. So his dad said, get that boy out there rain. Get that boy out this weather, you know. And I just laughed or whatever, because my brother loved at that time, you know. I could, knowing me, I probably was like, there go your daddy, you know, but that wouldn't necessarily mean anything to him because he's so little. He wasn't really, you know. But anyways, as the years went by, you know, things was real bad with my mom for a long time. And then his dad, stopped showing up, stopped doing anything, you know, wasn't doing nothing. You know, and, you know, my grandma pretty much is taking care of my brother for the most part. because he like to work a lot, so he gonna be out and about, and if it's in the, you're gonna see him, you know. Plus he was a very whorish man, you know, because he knew he was handsome, knew he was, you know, had a good job, making, you know, decent money at that time. So he was untamable, put it like that. So years go by, and I remember being like in high school or whatever, calling up to his job, because I always have been like very protective of my brother, and I would call that man's job and be like, hey, you know, you need to take care of my brother. You know, I always been very like, some people might say, hey, you kind of out of pocket, but you got to understand, like, at that time, my mama is, you know, heavy in her addictions. My grandma is toting the boat, and my grandma is old school. So if she didn't run and put her children, daddy, on child support, she didn't have time to go and try to track down this man and put him, you know, get blood tests, do all that for child support. She wasn't gonna do it. She just stepped up and did what she had to do for her grandchild, you know. And you know, I always had an issue with him not showing up for my brother. Why? Because I felt my brother was missing out on a dad, because I had a dad that was good, and I wanted him to have those same experiences, you know, because at this point my brother coming up in the household full of women, and to be honest, I don't know which way that joker was gonna go, because he was so non-aggressive and just be cooling, and it's like I used to have to try to make him fight sometimes. Somebody would be there and did something to him, I'm like, get out there, hit him, you know, because I don't want him to grow up and be soft, you know. But even to this day, his attitude is still very non-aggressive. Now he keep that fire on him now, but it's just he don't want no smoke. You know what I'm saying? And he's just always been that kid, just cool, laid back. He just want to get him some money, stay out the way. You know, he gonna talk plenty of trash, but he just, you know, he don't want no smoke. So I used to be a little afraid for him. So I used to be like, you know, because we growing up in, you know, the hood for the most part. You know, we at my grandma's house, and he's always at my grandma's house. So I was, you know, there when I wanted to be, but not because I had to be. I just had an affinity for being around there. So I was around there like all the time, you know. So, you know, I wanted him to have the kind of dad that I have, you know. And I remember being a little girl saying, even asking my dad, saying, can you just be his dad, you know? And, you know, I'm young, I don't understand that, hey, my daddy got kids of his own. He ain't necessarily trying to take on his ex-wife kid, like, yeah, no, you know? But I just feel like I know my brother need a daddy, you know? And I feel like he's missing out, and then it's, you know, it's not like his daddy living in another state. Your daddy is in the same city, same county, you know. And of course, like I said before, his dad had a family. So I do understand the dynamics at that time when I'm young, but at the same time, this is what I don't understand, because when men find a way to cheat, and you talking about y'all was messing around for years, if you can find a way to do that, you can find a way to take care of your kids. You know what I'm saying? So what had happened was, my mom got heavy in her addictions, you know, and I guess then he finds out that she's heavy in some addictions. So now you gotta distance yourself, because why? Probably because, you know, you a police officer, you know. But now my mom said that when she didn't want to deal with him no more, then is when he pulled back and cut everything off. So he wanted her to, like, basically be at his beck and call. And here's why I believe this is because there was some apartments that was just getting built on a certain street, right? They was just building up. And my mom was telling me about, you know, now this after, you know, she cleaned everything. She was saying how when those apartments over there first got built, it was a lot of officers that they was getting apartments over there, and that's where they would like house they women, you know. So they looking, you know, hey, you stay over here, then they could come and go as they want, you know, and deal with you as they want. So my mom was like, she wasn't going for that. Like, you married now, you ain't finna sew up everything I got, and I'm only gonna you know, everything I might be doing, but I only supposed to be for you. So my old girl was like, nah, she wasn't with that. So she was like, when she bounced into his program, then it's like, okay, well, you know, basically same story. When the woman cut off the sex, then the man don't want to participate no more. So that's pretty much what the story she was saying. But, and I believe that it's some of that, but I also believe he started finding out, hey, she got, you know, she do recreational drugs that don't went too far, you know. So, like I say, now growing up through the years, and this man is missing. And really, it's like you missing in plain sight, because you around. You know, like pop up sometimes, drive by sometimes, see your boy, do something. So he just was like playing like MIA, he ain't, you know. And it's crazy how life always presented certain things, right? Because my brother ended up, when I moved out of town, my brother ended up coming to stay with my grandma. Was having a hard time with my brother ended up coming to stay with me for another few months. And around that time, he hadn't turned 18 yet. So I'm like, I'm gonna put this joke on child support. And it's like, I know I filled out all the paperwork, did everything right, and it's just like, there was like a no, like a don't pass go, like there was something blocking or something, you know. And I just always feel like that man was tapped in with people, like, you know, he knew people in certain offices. Paperwork came across the desk with his name on it. It's a do not pass go type thing, you know. So, anyways, as the years would pass, I ended up working at what was called the Juvenile Assessment Center. So, if you don't know what that is when youth get arrested, they have to come through there to get processed. Once they get processed, they either go home or they either go to the Juvenile Detention Center. So because he is a resource officer at one of the schools, at this point he's working at one of like the special needs schools, right? So because he's a resource officer, he has to bring children in to get processed when they've acted up in school or whatever, violated probation, whatever. So lo and behold, I done started working here. Look up one day and who is bringing in a kid? Oh, Deputy Hardy. Deputy Hardy. I said, oh, okay. So it's like he's one of them people that as soon as I see him, it's like, it just irks my nerves. Like, I instantly get a uni. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, dude, the nerve, the audacity. Right? And that's not to say that my mom doesn't have any responsibility in, you know, what happened. Because of course, yeah, you made a bad decision. Dealing with a married man, okay, end up getting a baby. Alright. But when people have addictions, they be moving weird. You know what I'm saying? People do that and don't have no addiction. So it was a lot at play when that happened. He just didn't know that that was already at play. You know what I mean? So look up and I see him. Hadn't seen him in a while. So now you a whole bunch of pounds bigger. Still hoish, still, you know, smooth with the words. So I got a homegirl that's a security officer there. So the security usually meet with the officers. So I sound like him. And she be like, David Hardy. I say, she be like, girl, you know he messed up. Yeah, oh, I know. He my brother daddy. He real hoish. I always have been. Now the only thing is, see, life hadn't told him yet that, Joker, you ain't that man you used to be all them years ago. You still got a soft, old, nice voice to the women. But Joker, you big as a house. You still, you know, you got them little bow legs, but it don't look the same when you got 150 extra pounds on you. That sex appeal ain't done no more, right? But because, you know, ain't nobody told his ego that he still thinking, you know. So one thing about me, people, when you know my mama, then when you see me, you see her, right? So when he sees me, he looks like I know her, you know. Yeah, you do, but it ain't who you think for sure, you know what I'm saying? So now you coming in, you know, I notice his pattern. He comes in on a regular basis. So now every time I see him, I'm mugging him, like purposely mugging him, like walking up on him looking ugly as I could look. You hear me? So one day he say, why you always so mean? I say, you know why. Y'all know what that joker did? He started doing his paperwork in his car instead of coming into the building, sitting down doing it. Cause see, where they used to sit down and do their paperwork was right by my office. So that's what he started doing. But now he still would have to come in. So still, when you come in, I don't care how long you in there for, if I see you, I'm coming close to you and look at you as ugly as I can look at you. Every time, joker. And then I started saying, you know what? I say, look how life works sometimes. See, here it is. You know, bruh. You know what you got going on. You know you got a whole male child out here that's, you know, at this point, grown. That you ain't never really had no interactions with besides when he was a child. Nothing that he can remember. Right? And you mean to tell me that don't play on you at all? And I'm like, maybe as a woman, that's just something that will bother me. But of course, men been doing that for years and years. And I'm just like, how you do that? How you sleep well? Because he got boys. And then this is the thing now. Over the years, you know, when Facebook kicks in and, you know, you at all these social medias, everybody posting all their pictures. I'm looking at his sons, I'm like, God dog, my brother look like them jokers, you know? And like, y'all know them type of men who, they have like they like baby fat. They ain't like fat, but it's like baby fat. Like they might have men boobs, stuff like that, because I always used to mess with my brother about his men boobs. And I'm like, his sons is built the same way as my brother them. You know what I'm saying? Like, what in the world? Okay. So, look how the world be so coincidentally, right? Through the years, we find out, like, he's from the same area that my grandmama them and my mama them grew up in when they was children. And my oldest auntie say, I used to take up for him. We used to walk home. They used to pick at him because he was fat. He was a fat little kid. And then so my grandma realized she know his mama. And she said his mama was a very, very large woman, right? So I'm like, well, look at it. Like, look how stuff be linking up and you would never, like, know, you know. So I'm like, okay, well, this is where my brother get his little baby fat stuff from or whatever. Because at that time, my mama's side of the family, like, was like, they weren't no big people, you know. So anyways, as I run into him every now and then, you know, I always have a mean look or ugly something for him or whatever, because I just don't like him. Then I find out he do extra duty work at one of the Waffle Houses, you know. So I tell my brother, like, hey, go up there, you know. You know, now my brother got a best friend that you know all the ins and outs or whatever. And my brother said his friend said something to him one time. Hey, you know who that is? You know that's your, you know? Oh, and then he talking about that. That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. What do that matter that it was a long time ago? His blood still is, you know what I'm saying, running through, your blood still running through your son's veins, no matter how long ago it was. And so in my mind, I just, you know, I always wonder, like, how you can do that. And I ain't lying. So, let me see, what happened? So it was social media. So I ended up some kind of way getting his snot. This is what I had found out, you know, is that my mom was pregnant with him the same time that man's wife was pregnant with a daughter. So I knew my brother had a sister that was the same age as him, within the same age range as him, right? So when I started looking on social media and stuff or whatever, found out who she was, boom. I don't just let stuff go. So I hit her up. I'm like, hey, listen. You know what I'm saying? But what I did, I told her everything, right? What I didn't know is that she was like me. She's a daddy's girl. So, you know, that doesn't go over well with the daddy's girl, especially if he's married to your mom, you know. So she played it a little bit like, oh, send me pictures, you know. Only for everything I sent her, like, oh, no, he doesn't look like, girl. I say you and him got the same pig nose and the same straight white teeth. Girl, y'all got the same face. What are you looking at? Cause now you finna piss me off, little girl. Cause see, I'm a sister too, a daddy's girl too. But at the same time, some stuff cannot be denied. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, y'all, you and this joker got the same face. And you're almost the same complexion. But your mama is real red. Mine is jet black. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, because I was even amazed, like, oh my gosh, this girl look just like my brother. They be saying we look alike, but yeah, dude, my brother look like his sister, his brother to him, you know? So so check this out, what it came down to, because I started just getting the facts. Your daddy got a brother that's light skinned. Look, yeah, my brother used to look just like him when it was little. He done been over our house. So boom, I started giving facts that can't even be denied. Guess what that girl told me? Well, my family just got back. My family just getting back together, and you're not going to ruin that. So see, what it was is that, because like I say, that man always been whole. She had other kids, at least one other girl that her mama had ended up putting him on child support. Now I said, look at this girl. Now obviously her mama is dark skinned, so he must have an affinity for dark skinned women, even though the woman that he married is light skinned. Obviously her mama is dark skinned because she's dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? But my brother still look way more like y'all. But see, her mama was in had all her right faculties. So her mama went ahead and put him on child support, you know. So it was never no doubt about her, because her mama went and did everything. Okay, well, my mama wasn't that present to do that, and my grandma was working hard and trying to raise his son. So my grandma just did not go through all of that to do that, right? But like I say, it wasn't never no question, never no doubt, never no nothing, because the man used to come around when we was young. You know, when my brother was little, he used to come around and do. He knew that was his child, right? So anyways, yeah, I say all that, send pictures, all of that, you know. I just was relentless through the years. I just was like, I just didn't feel like it was right that you actually got a pass, and you still living and breathing, and you don't feel no kind of way about not even meeting your son as a grown man. My brother done had a child. Coincidentally, his child looked like his sister's child. And I'm like, bro, how can you live with yourself? And even when I was talking to this girl, because see, you're at this point when I'm talking to the sister, you're a grown woman. So even though you're a daddy's girl, of course you want to take her for your daddy. You don't want to look at him as a slime that he once was. But hey, it's life. It happens. You know what I'm saying? My mom was out of pocket for dealing with a married man. But it happens. And then, like I said, when you consider the age, they all in their early 30s, so they're moving and shaking. You know? So I'm like, okay, cool. So then I say, you know what? Tell your daddy I'll pay for the blood test. And better yet, it don't even have to be your daddy. Send one of your brothers, I'll pay for it. Nobody want to do that though. Nobody want to do that, cause see, it's a way to get to the bottom of everything. I told that girl, if your daddy dog, well, I'm gonna be right at that funeral. Cause y'all ain't that insurance policy or nothing getting bust down, and my brother don't get nothing. See, I used to be real, like, and a part of me still mean that, I ain't lying. You know what I'm saying? But as you get older, now I ain't even gonna say as you get older, cause I don't, it'll take a whole lot really for me not to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I understand that people be grieving at certain times, so I would hate to show up and be that person. But hey, y'all daddy put y'all in that situation. Not, hey, y'all daddy put y'all in that situation. So hey, we here. And I wouldn't care what anybody say. If y'all see this man in person and start looking at y'all self, oh yeah, that's his. Can't be denied. See, a girl don't want to do that because she's a daddy's girl. Them brothers would have to be like, oh, I don't know, Pop. Well, no, that Pop. You know, so anyways, you know, like I said, through the years I found out, you know, he not retired. He ain't a deputy chef no more. So he ain't doing the, you know, Waffle House work no more, whatever, neither. And so this take me to last week. Right, last week. We down at the county. Now we down there for a celebration for my cuz. Right? I told y'all he won the bronze, etc. so forth. Go to the county building, you know. They was finna, you know, give my cousin his own day, everything. So we walked in the county building. Y'all ain't gonna believe who I seen, who's sitting at the front desk in a security uniform. When I started looking like this, you know who it is. It's only one or two people in this city that make me look like that when I see them. Boy. So now I had a question, so that's why I'm walking to the front desk, because it was something that I was asking. So he right there looking like he done seen a ghost, honey. Like he get real, like eyes get bulky, everything when you see me. So I bypass him and go and ask the people right next to him what I needed to ask him. So I text my brother like, your daddy here. He like, my what? You know what I'm saying? So we like laugh. Cause in his mind, like, ain't no daddy, I don't know him, you know? Like I know that he is my daddy, but I don't know him. So the thing was, like, you know, like as we was coming up, I was like, okay, you know, you got sister, then you got this other sister, you know, it's like, okay, you a male. Why would you be having kids out here and not letting all your kids know, okay, who, and they around the same age? They could easily end up liking each other, meeting each other, anything. So why would you allow that to play out like that? You know, yes, I understand you got a family. You having all of that didn't stop you from doing what you was doing, though. So why would having all of that stop you from taking care of a kid? You know, like, why would you do that to a kid? Your whole life. Now you supposed to be saved in church. This and I said, now what if we go to the church one day? Because all of that I done thought about. You know, I would never be disrespectful in the church, but I would surely pull right on up in there and sit right on the same pew right next to you with my brother if he wanted to. Sure would. Who? Make you want to change churches? I ain't lying. Like, listen. And that's because, like, I just feel like, you know, and I don't know, like, it be times that I'm like, see, this is why the Lord do not let you have no children. Because, boy, I wasn't finna play by them. I promise you that. I wasn't gonna play by them. You couldn't be in the same city that I was in, boy, and not coming to see by mine. I wasn't gonna have that. And, you know, so it's like you look back on stuff and you like, God know. You know, sometimes you don't really have the temperament. Not to say that I would have been a bad parent, because I wouldn't have been a bad parent. But it's just some things I wouldn't have had the temperament to deal with if it presented itself. I would have likely handled it the wrong way. Went too far. You know? So, so when you think about that, you start to realize, like, okay, you understand some things, like, okay, maybe that's why certain things didn't play out for you, because God know you would have been in prison, or somebody would have hurt you. You know what I'm saying? And that would have left a kid without a mom. You know. So, anyways, so yeah, it's him. He there. So then I said, you know, and I talk to my dad a lot, and I tell him, I'm like, you know, even when I was working at the juvenile assessment center and I used to see him, you know, and I used to feel like, look at, God is giving this man a chance to say something to make it right, because he always end up seeing me some kind of way. He always end up seeing me like, that's your opportunity to say, hey, how he doing? Arrange a meeting or anything, bruh. And you don't say nothing. And even when I was talking to the girl that time, and I didn't even notice, right? Because I hadn't seen him in a while when I'm talking to this girl. And I said, that's why I guarantee you your daddy be sick and he be having health problems. Why? Because he ain't do right by all his kids. That's why. When I say that was the end of the conversation for me and her, because it's like I hit a nerve when I said that. Yeah. Unhealthy. Can't get it right. Who knows what's all going on with that joker? Yeah, because it's something he's harboring. It's something he's been holding on, and it's eating away at him. All you had to do was go on and sit down and tell that truth and get that pressure up off you, boss. It is what it is. Ain't nothing you could do about it. You can't change what you did, but it does not erase the fact that you did what you did. Not telling, not owning up to it don't do nothing but make things harder for your family in the long run. You know what I'm saying? And especially when my brother was, you know, giving, you know, like being problematic, not want to go to school. He needed a man to show up for him in that time. He needed a man, and all he had around really was women to do it. Of course, my mama had brothers and stuff like, but they wasn't, you know, they can only flex their voice so much. But ain't nothing like what his daddy could have done. You know what I'm saying? And his daddy wasn't no pie dude. Like, his daddy could get them together if he needed to. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, my brother was a non-aggressive kind of little boy. Like, it wouldn't have took much, but it would have took more than, you know, grandmamas. Because kids know that they could get over on their grandparents, most of them. You know what I'm saying? And once they figure out that, hey, the grandparent got a different kind of affinity for them, you know, it's over. That's why grandparents should not raise children. And I stand on that, because they have a different type of affinity, a different type of love and admiration for them kids. So they don't handle them and they don't parent them in the same way that they would parent their own children. Most of them do not. I have seen this over and over again. So yeah, so running to that joker, and I'm just like, boom, again, another opportunity. So I just feel like at some day, like, you might have to give an account for that. I gave you numerous times. And then when we go to the county, my grandmama there. So even if you ain't want to say nothing to me, you could have pulled her aside. My auntie, uncle, them, even my uncle was like, there goes Zachary, that, you know, there goes my brother, dad. I was like, yeah, I see him. You know, so it's just like I say, I do not make no excuses for things that happen that should not have happened. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I understand when people young and they moving around, and sometimes, like, a man like him, he got his pick of the litter. He was nice looking. You had a little money. You ain't mind giving it out. You know, like, yes, that can entice a woman, especially a woman who got some habits that she know you don't know nothing about. And yeah, I'm gonna get a little bread from you. I'm gonna, you know, it's easy to spend some time with you. You're easy on the eyes. You're nice, and you're gonna break bread for my silence. You know, so she just was out of a marriage. She wasn't trying to get with you like that. You was company, boo. You know, so that be the thing that a lot of women don't, you know, understand. That a lot of women really, they hate the think that their husband actually be out there on the prowl, and that be happening. They actually do be out there on the prowl. Them women don't always be just knocking their doors down trying to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Play dumb all you want to. You know, like, no, you gotta be living in this life, living in reality. Like, things do happen. Things happen. Unfortunate things happen. Things that should not have never happened, they happen. Yeah, adults do things they ain't got no business doing. It happens. It's life. You know, and in this case, it was a kid that, you know, suffered for it. You know, now my brother's all grown, and truth of the matter, like, I don't know that. I know that he missed an element by not having a father figure, but he don't feel like he missed the element. You know what I'm saying? So if he don't feel no kind of way, then hey, it is what it is. You know, as long as he's not mad about anything, you know. But that's how he portrays to me. I don't know if that's really how he feels, because all his life he done seen me and my sister have a daddy. Ain't nowhere in the world sometimes it didn't bother him that his daddy wasn't coming to get him. Of course I feel like it bothered him, you know, but just as him being a man now, he just like, hey, I had to live life and move on, and I couldn't dwell on that. You know what I'm saying? So that's you know how I feel about it. I don't know how he feel about it, but it's just, you know, maybe some of y'all men can just chime in and say, like, you know, tell me, how can that happen? You know, and I do realize that when a woman is pregnant with a child, she automatically has like that physical connection, you know. And sometimes it's automatic that she gets the emotional connection, not all the time. But she got the physical connection if she don't have nothing else. But for the man, he does not have that physical connection. And if he does not put an effort, he won't even get the emotional connection. So I understand that it's much easier for a man to walk away from a child because he does not have those connections. And if he's not intentional about building those connections, there won't be a connection. But after a certain amount of time, just to know you got a kid, there's a man child that's living, breathing, and growing up, and you never want to meet them or know them, and you also, you know, willing to lie to your other children about it. How can you just do that as a person? See, when I see stuff like that happen, that alone gives me a lot of insight. Because see, that shows me that people can do some things that you would never think that they would do. How can you do that? I'm asking the question, how can you do that? Because I don't really get emotionally how you could do it. But because I see it, I understand, oh, it happens. And see, that's what sometimes people come in the comments and they really be oblivious to certain things going on. Like, they just don't feel it could happen like this, or it could happen like that. Baby, you got to open your mind in this life. It just showed me that maybe you have not been exposed to certain things, and you may not have seen certain things happen, but that don't mean that it can't and that it don't. Just because that's not your story. It's happening. It happens. And it's not just for this situation, because I'm talking about like other topics that I have covered. You will have people coming in and matter of fact and this, that. Man, listen, keep on living. Keep on living. Find out some secrets. Uncover some secrets that's been going on in your family that you probably didn't know. It'll blow your mind. That's the type of stuff that, like, when you really tap into certain things, you start knowing, like, listen, it's hard. It should be really hard for you to put certain things past people, because people gonna people. And yeah, so I don't know, you know, in my mind, I be having hope that at some point, you know, he might be on his deathbed and be like, hey, y'all find him, you know. But my mama and them daddy already showed me that, boy, a person to take it to the grave, they will lie to the end. And that's right now why my mom and dad, I believe they said he got like Alzheimer's or dementia. Like, I just don't believe you do yourself any type of service whenever you have neglected, mistreated, didn't take care of your kids. I think that stuff comes back to you. Like, I see, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with my brother daddy, like, Joker, you was a Orange County deputy sheriff for years. Did all kind of extra duty work. You made buku's money. Now you supposed to be retired, and Joker, you can't even retire. Now you working for security. You can't even retire. I know you tired. You big and tired. Can't retire. And some of it probably you can't retire because you need the health care. You need the health benefits. Yeah. You ain't do yourself no service. You need no service, boy. That's why, like, listen, especially while you of age, it behooves you to try to make some things right and to try to live right. Of course, we all did some things that we shouldn't have did. I done messed with people I shouldn't have messed with. I done, did things I shouldn't have did. Now, did I make a habit of it? No. Do I know better and I try not to do certain things? Yes. Do I always get it right? No. But do I try? Am I cognizant of right and wrong and make an effort to do the best I can in this life? I absolutely do. Because I do believe that stuff come back to see you. And life is hard enough. I definitely don't be trying to add nothing else to that. You hear me? That's one reason for this podcast, so I could share life stuff. You know what I'm saying? And my intention was always to share life stuff with younger people so they could think about the choices they making, think about the things that they're doing, and be able to avoid some of the pitfalls. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the intention. Because you young, you moving around, and yes, a lot of times people with girlfriends, men with wives, they make it easy to deal with them. Easy. But then, boom, before you know it, now what? When children start coming into play, now that little, silent creeping y'all was doing that didn't nobody know about, now it ain't so silent no more. Now everybody want to know who their daddy is, So I don't know, y'all. Just be mindful of the stuff that you do. When you young, you coming up through the trenches, but when you get middle age like me and all that, you still have to be mindful. You still have to be mindful. And it really comes down to, not doing anything to somebody that you wouldn't want done to yourself. If you could try to stick as close to that, live by that as much as possible, that will definitely do you a service, But be open-minded and understanding too when people do things that they shouldn't, because you got to understand that it's life. And hey, it happens. Maybe they was never able to listen to any of my podcasts, you know what I'm saying? So hey, they don't know certain things that they might would have known, But anyways, y'all, I just wanted to share that life story with y'all. Cause I ain't lying, y'all know I got a good mind to send an email to somebody, But I do, and this the part that I really didn't understand is like, why it seemed like it bothered me more than it bothered my brother. And I was telling my daddy that, I said, I feel like I'd be more mad about that every time I see this joker. I'd be more mad about it than my brother, And my dad was like, because, you were older, you were able to, you seen it from the beginning, you knew when he was coming around, etc. Like, you really knew more about it versus, your brother just, hey, you don't know him, you don't care to know him, but you knew more about the situation because you were older. And I'm like, maybe so, and I just like, I was looking, even online, I was looking, I'm like, they got family pictures, but man, you really got a whole life out here where you is just lying to your kids and your wife all these years. All these years, you gonna go to your grave line. You can't lie to the Lord though, cause Lord knows He know. But yeah, so it's just interesting. So that's why I was like, it really be interesting to me too, because it's like, after seeing so many things in life and with marriages, and that's still something that I have a desire for. And then sometimes I just have to be like, you know what, God, let your will be done. Cause hey, if it's not in your will for marriage to be part of my life, then that would be the best thing for me. Because I know I ain't gonna take too well to you having no churn on me and all that type of stuff. I ain't gonna take too well to all that extra cheating, and I ain't gonna take too well to none of it. I already know that. So at the end of the day, you have to just say, hey, God knows. A lot of times it's what He's preventing. It ain't that He don't necessarily want to give you no husband. He just know that it's certain things you ain't gonna tolerate, and it might end, who knows, it may be a situation that end bad for you, when it all could have been avoided had you never went down that path. So that's that. I'm gonna leave y'all with that.